Okay. I need to do this in English. My Italian is insufficient for covering the whole content of my presentation. Prime Minister Conte, President of the Basilica region, authorities, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here with you today for this very important annual meeting to take stock of the key issues and trends in the evolution of our sector. I would like to thank Mr. Scutieri, President of ANFIA, for having me here today, for the invitation, and special thanks also to Pietro Gollier from FCA, hosting this event in this plant, which is truly a benchmark factory of efficiency and high quality production. Past, present and future, as we share the same roots of our sister company FCA. And I know that Pietro is going to retracing the history of our presence in these regions. I will be very, very quick on the past and focus on the present and on the future, as we have heard about the future of propulsion technology. The history of Iveco, I would just touch upon like 3 moments in history. So let me touch on 1903. Fiat produced at that time its very first commercial vehicle, the 24 horsepower with a flatbed made of seasoned wood, and it could carry up to 4 tons of goods, adopted some already quite revolutionary technology for that time. The engine displacement was pretty ahead of its time, the gearbox and the transmission, which made it an immediate market success. Innovation is at the heart of everything what we do at Iveco and CNH Industrial. In 1975, the Industrial Vehicle Corporation was founded, named as Iveco, was created, merging some of the most iconic brands of the early transport industry. Legendary brands such as Fiat, OM from Brescia, Magirus and Munich were all merged into what was since then became famous as the Iveco Group. Very visionary entrepreneurs, and you see some of them here, have merged their entrepreneurial wisdom and foresight into Iveco, and just to name a few, Giovanni Agnelli, Konrad Dietrich Magirus here on this page, as well as Vincenzo Lancia. They were all entrepreneurs of their time, challenging the status quo, developing products that were truly ahead of their time in the years when they were launched. In 2009, 10 years ago, together with ANFIA and ACI, we organized the Heavy Industrial Vehicles event near Rome, centered on road security with dynamic tests, a testament to our long-lasting commitment to safety. Today, Iveco is part of a 30 billion publicly listed conglomerate, CNH Industrial, with activities that span from agriculture to construction equipment, through powertrain all the way to buses, light commercial vehicles and heavy-duty trucks, as well as specialty and defense vehicles. We employ 65,000 people in the world in 66 plants in 54 R&D centers, and of the 65,000 people, 17,000 are in Italy. And there's very, very strong roots in our country here. Nearly 1/3 of our employees, as I said, work in this country, and we are running 14 manufacturing plants and 12 R&D centers. A strong base from where we want to build our future, working in line with our purpose, powering sustainable transformation. And I will talk about this, what we as Iveco are doing about battery electric and especially fuel cell heavy-duty trucks, where we are about to take the lead in Europe again, after having paved the ground as a leader with the LNG technology, which was already talked about. Our solid Italian roots are reflected in our commercial and specialty vehicle segment that I have the privilege to lead globally since January this year. Within our segment, we employ in Italy, within the commercial and specialty vehicle segment, we employ in Italy 7,500 workers in 7 R&D centers and 4 main manufacturing sites. In Brescia, a site with more than 100 years of history, where we produce our medium-range commercial vehicles, the Iveco Eurocargo, plus firefighting vehicles under the Magirus brand. This is a very important site to us, and we've just reconfirmed the mission of that site for the years to come. Suzzara, near Mantova, the home of the daily, the home of the transport of the last mile, the first and the last mile vehicles, where we manufacture our very best-selling commercial vehicle in our group. Piacenza, where we produce our Astra, quarry construction heavy-duty vehicles for both the off-road applications in the industry as well as for on-road logistics and vehicles for the defense sector. Bolzano, together with the production unit in Vittorio Veneto, devoted to the production of defense and civil protection vehicles for our Iveco Defense Vehicles brand. And since we're here in Melfi, I would also like to mention the powertrain plant of our sister brand FPT Industrial. It's part of CNH Industrial, which is less than an hour from here in Foggia. It's where we build the wonderful engines of dailies and Ducados. Our strategy for the future is depicted here on this next page, is to strengthen our overall positioning as Iveco and our product lineup with product upgrades in line with regulatory requirements, driving the investments also in Italy. This strategy develops across 6 building blocks as depicted here on this page. Number one is product evolution. We have to innovate, we have to be the first, and I think Iveco, together with the partners and suppliers in Italy, we have been proven to be among the very first to pioneer new groundbreaking technology, and we're going to continue to do that. And we have just launched the new model year 19 Daily and the new S-Way, the new heavy-duty truck replacing the Stralis. Heavy-duty truck repositioning is another special element for us in Iveco. As you know, we are number one in Italy. We're very leading in other markets, but we need to be consistently successful with our heavy-duty trucks throughout Europe. And that means we need to have cutting-edge technology in a very price and competitive position in every market where we play. And we have a plan to get there, and we are already under execution of that heavy-duty truck repositioning. We are here to compete and play and win in all the segments where Iveco is working. Total quality and 80-20 simplification make things easier. I think we can and we will be much easier to work with, much easier to operate also with our suppliers and partners in this country. And we are working on this especially to be more leaner and more faster and more agile with the challenges that are coming. The world around us is changing, and it's changing fast, and we need to change with it. And we need to maybe even be a little faster than the world, otherwise we will be left behind. And we are prepared to be faster as we go ahead. This is a picture that is basically summarizing the new mission, a reconfirmed mission, not a new mission, it's a reconfirmed mission of Iveco. We are here for the driver, we are here for your business and our environment or our planet, as the video has nicely depicted as we had it before. TCO means total cost of ownership. And before, it was just a sum of costs and it was comparing to another alternative. But what we have done, we have taken this one step further, and we have developed this loop where we added the green on the right-hand side from your side, where we added the social aspects, the economy, and especially the ecological considerations around the environment where we play. We are living in a circular economy, and we need to think not only about tomorrow, we need to think about the day after tomorrow without an Armageddon. And we need to be sustainable for the future. The planet needs it, and we need to really think in decades, and we need to, we owe it to the next generation, and I'm going to touch upon that as well. So you will hear us talking a lot about TCO, true sustainability, not short-sighted, short-term steps, but really fundamental industry transformation. We talked about natural power, which is methane gas. And as a result, today, Iveco is leading in exactly this energy transition. Natural gas is the only mature, immediately available solution for sustainable long-haulage trucking in our industry. Iveco is the absolute leader in natural gas-powered vehicles in Europe. We were the very first to introduce it just 3-4 years ago. And we have been keeping the market share of above 50% in a small segment, yet fast-growing segment, as natural power, and that means methane, gives the way into biomethane as a fuel of the future. And it was already said today, nations and regions, to become more independent, need to rely on energy sources that can be regrown and that can be grown locally and gas and biomethane for sure, as well as hydrogen, are the ways to go. Today, Iveco offers the widest CNG and LNG range of vehicles, performing with the longest autonomy of about 1,400 kilometers with our new S-Way, which we've just launched in July, and we've started to supply to our customers in November. We forecast LNG to reach about 7% of the total market by 2024, reminding us that in China, LNG is already today 10% of the market and is going to grow to more than 20% in a few years from now. So gas is the future, and especially mixing gas with biogas from renewable sources makes this the only truly sustainable, short-term available technology for heavy commercial vehicles. Some numbers on Italy. This is on the left-hand side, these are the volumes of vehicles of LNG heavy-duty truck registrations in Italy. On the right-hand side, this shows you the big bar is the market share of Iveco. And we are planning for sure to regrow our market share in Italy in that technology to more than 74%, given that with the new S-Way we've just launched in terms of autonomy, reliability, and the overall package, we are setting a new benchmark for us to compete not only here, but in all markets across Europe. The new Iveco S-Way is the result of years of experience, which have enabled us to introduce significant improvements. And the only truly long-haul gas truck here is shown on that page with 2 tanks carrying enough fuel for 1,400 kilometers. Our best, closest competitor doesn't even reach the 1,000. So we are really ahead. We have the new cab. We have now a product which is absolutely competitive, and we have received a very strong inbound interest in the truck, in gas as well as in diesel. And next week in Turin on December 3rd, we are going to show the electric version of that truck together with our partner Nikola Motors, but I will talk about that in a minute. So in terms of gas, the distribution network in Italy will grow, and it's important both for large fleets and also for city bus applications in the CNG sector. And we obviously count on the continued support in this country for this technology to have certain incentives in place to really step in the right direction of sustainable transportation, as it has been done in the last couple of years. And thank you very much for the support given in the last couple of years already. And we are here to compete and play in the years to come with gas. But not only gas. At the European level, institutions collectively endorse LNG and biomethane as an important solution to reach long-term decarbonization targets. This was clearly expressed by the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in her mission letter to Kadri Simpson, Commissioner for Energy, where she strongly supports LNG for the transport sector. Furthermore, Frans Timmermans, the Commissioner for Climate, has very much underlined the importance of gas as a bridging technology to come to hydrogen-powered energy solutions for commercial vehicles on the road. At Italian level, we are glad to see that the national government is confirming its support for a gradual shift towards vehicles with high environmental performance, such as LNG and biomethane vehicles, in line with the Memorandum of Understanding for the development of biomethane in the transport sector, signed in April in Rome by Confagricoltura. I'm learning. Thank you. CIB, the Italian Biogas Consortium, Eni, Snam, and the 3 brands of CNH Industria, who are the most active in this area, FPT Industrial at the forefront of it, New Holland Agriculture, and Iveco. Important decisions in this field should also be taken with the 2020 budget law. These include reshaping of tax funds on fuels in favor of new, safer, and less polluting commercial vehicles. Similarly, through the approval of the National Strategic Plan for Sustainable Public Mobility, it has been recognized the role that the CNG-powered and electric could and should play in the transition to a fully sustainable local public transport system. Looking ahead, we need to work with authorities and institutions to ensure that necessary infrastructure keeps pace with our progress towards sustainable transport. Today with natural gas, tomorrow with electricity and hydrogen. Because the future is not only gas, but also battery electric, which is here depicted in the middle section. Today, Iveco leads the segment offering in the passenger transport with our city buses. For more than 11 years, we are selling electric daily vans, and we are working on our second generation now that will come to market in 2021. New products are in the pipeline as well in second generations for truck, in the shorter distribution as well as for the long haul. Fuel cell is the next chapter, and there is a true chance. We heard about energy independence of nations and regions, but hydrogen is the only way to sustainably store green energy coming from the sun, which shines or it doesn't, or wind that sometimes blows or it doesn't. And storing it in hydrogen is a perfect way to have it ready if electricity is needed or other forms of energy, also for the chemical industry, obviously. It is the perfect resource. It's available in endless amounts, and it's cheap. It just needs to be made. And how it's made, that's the challenge of today, and we are looking at this. In the long distance haulage, today LNG delivers significant lower well-to-wheel emissions, but in the medium to long term, fuel cell and battery technologies will deliver zero emission trucking. In September this year, just a few weeks ago, we have signed a world exclusive deal with a company called Nikola Motors from Phoenix, Arizona. It is a startup. But this startup is the most consistent and radical in thinking through the value chain of deploying fuel cell technology with hydrogen at its source. And we were chosen as their exclusive partner. They could have chosen anybody, but they chose Iveco for several reasons. One reason was we are the pioneers in gas with LNG, also pioneering a new refueling network. And we are the ones who are most lean and most agile when it comes to introducing new technologies. So Nikola has chosen us, and we're going to, as I said, we're going to launch next week. We're going to reveal the fuel cell battery electric vision of the S-Way that will be delivered in Europe as a battery version in 2021 and as a fuel cell version in 2023. So we are proud to be partners of Nikola, and we will show you more next week. So this is not reality. This picture is not a rendering. This truck in the front runs on hydrogen. This is not a diesel. It's not a battery truck. It has a Bosch fuel cell system inside. It's developed jointly with partners, and I actually was driving it myself with my team. It is available in Phoenix. And they just did last week with Anheuser-Busch, which is one of their customers. They ordered 800 of these trucks. The first delivery of beer, which is Anheuser-Busch, in the US, entirely emission neutral based on fuel cell technology. It must have felt a little bit like the rocket you had in your movie, but it is a high-tech product. Although it looks like a truck, everything underneath is different. It is not a linear development from what a truck is today. It is completely different. And we are proud and excited to be the engineering partner for Nikola to not only develop the S-Way cap-over engine truck for Europe, but also to bring this truck to serious quality and serious maturity for the US market as their partner, which is the long-awaited, obviously, exposure for Iveco also to the US. To wrap up, throughout its history, Iveco has repeatedly proven to have the strategic vision capable of changing the path of the entire industry where we play, just like we are doing today with our approach to sustainable transportation. We will continue on our path of disruptive innovation, building on our technology leadership in LNG as a platform for carbon neutrality or negative carbon footprint with biogas. We will continue to invest, obviously, in diesel engines, which have still a lot of improvement to come. But we need to double down on future technologies, just like LNG and fuel cell, to truly transform an industry that is facing, with 2025, we have seen that, a massive challenge, because the 15% CO2 reduction we have seen presented earlier, they are not 15%. They are more than 25% in reality, because there's a path between 2025 and 2030, plus there's another emission norm coming which usually pushes up fuel consumption. So the real target is north of 20-25%, and there is no way a truck OEM can make 2025 without electrification of heavy-duty vehicles. And there's only one way to do it right, which is fuel cell, and in certain applications, battery. As Pietro will elaborate in more detail in a few minutes, we need a clear regulatory framework for these things, with defined policies, with clear rules, and we are absolutely not afraid of challenging emission targets. It's actually on the contrary, it's an opportunity for us to disrupt the market, to be again at the forefront, because we cannot outspend competition, but we can outpace and outsmart them. And this has to come with a great level of alignment with all stakeholders here also in the room. So we are prepared to shake up our industry. We have the boldest ambition in hydrogen fuel cell technology for emission-free driving, and I'm sure that at this table today, we all work for the same goal: the more connected and sustainable transport environment for people and goods, for us and the generations to come. Thank you.